Discussions of race and critical race theory are pressing themes of controversy in schools and superintendents' offices all over America today. The idea of critical race theory was developed in the 80s, but suddenly the term is making national and international headlines. Critical race theory opposes the common philosophy American educators fostered for decades, grounded in the idea of colorblindness. Rather than avoiding and ignoring a dark history of racism which many Americans still face on a daily basis, critical race theory acknowledges racial disparities and draws accountability to the hierarchy in America that has led us to these deep-rooted inequalities. What we see today, and as many social movements have become, the subject has become politicized. Many people don't even understand what CRT is, yet choose to oppose it because it feels un-American and caters to liberals. Unfortunately, what has become clear is that many public schools are choosing to support those who fear the exposure of their white privilege and are letting their own students down in turn. In York, Maine, a local story made national news when a high school senior created a piece of anti-racist art that was taken down from its place in the school library because of a few negative Facebook comments from parents. After the student talked with teachers, she organized a walkout as a way to get the principal's attention and to demand the art be put back up.
I started displaying it when she gave it to me, which was last April. So it's been in the library since April, and the challenge came in the first week in October.
My dad told me the bigger the art piece, the bigger of a statement that it is.
It's a bifold door, so there's 6 panels on it, so it's fairly large, 6 feet by maybe 3 feet. So, of course, just struck by beautiful piece of art. But then, chatting with her about the project and the meaning of the work made it even that much more powerful.
I thought that the door would resemble moving into a different place, into the future, how we should be as a society instead of where we have been and have been in the past. Originally, I was told it got taken down because there was a spelling error. So immediately I fixed it and I was like, can it go back up? Because there's really no reason for it to be taken down. And they said that it had caused controversy in the community, where the Facebook comments came in.
It said, apparently York High School teachers care more about racism than they do spelling. Pretty awesome. Yes, we do. But yeah, so this initial post led to some really nasty commentary. Somehow one of these adults on the York Community Dialogue called the superintendent's office and left messages demanding that the artwork be taken down. So that's how it came to me, was that there's a lot of talk on Facebook, this needs to come down, or what do you know about it and should we take it down? And I said, absolutely not. It's artwork, it's a student work. And we have a lot of rules in libraries about censorship and removing pieces. That night, my principal called me and said, that's going to be overruled because the lawyers for York School District recommended that they remove the artwork. So I don't know if they realized that they were telling York School District to remove anti-racist artwork, or if maybe they didn't say any such thing.
I was frustrated because my principal, Mr. Francis, didn't give me a very clear reason why it got taken down, and why we couldn't put it back up, which is what initiated my walkout. He was really afraid of the negativity that was on Facebook, and he catered to some of the more negative comments because he didn't want to deal with it. So at lunch, I was talking to my friends and my teachers who I have lunch with, and they were like, you should do something right now to get it back up, because it had been about a week and a half, and I was media was starting to follow it, and there was more attention on it, what was happening. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do a walkout today, like in a half an hour, and we'll see how many kids can go. And like, I'll just spread it on Instagram because whatever, like so many kids use that platform. I don't have Snapchat, but some people like put it on their stories and whatever. And there was probably like 45 kids that came. And I was like, it was really cool. The principal caught on to what was happening and he called me down to his office to like prevent it from happening. And the walkout was at 1:30 and he held me in his office until 1:35. And when I came out with my art, like there was like almost 50 kids there and they started clapping and he was so mad because like kids were just walking out the door while we were talking in his office and he could see that. And yeah, it really scared him. It was really funny. He got a little scared and quiet. But yeah, it was really impactful, I think, for them to see that like I wasn't the only one that was frustrated by the situation. And also there was a staff meeting that was held where like numbers of staff said that like they kind of threatened that they would leave if it didn't get put back up because it was such a like a really undebatable topic. Like it's a piece of anti-racism art.
When the article came out, Seacoast Online, there was a direct quote from my principal, Carl Francis, that said, "The prominent display of the artwork drew complaints from parents, teachers, and students." That is not true. And I was like having a heart attack because no one complained. The people on Facebook complained. So finally, when the news went global, Carl contacted the Seacoast Online reporter, as did I, and the article was updated and changed. But as we all know, it was changed in Seacoast Online. It did not get updated around the world. So in my opinion, a real tragedy here is that York, Maine, York high school community is considered a racist place. Because when you have parents, teachers, students, all plurals, a contingency of those groups were upset about anti-racist art, that's a national, that's a global story. And that is not true. And that's why this caught on, I believe. I don't think if it was reported as it happened, no one cares. No one cares about 6 upset, people on Facebook bullying a minor about their schoolwork.
So many people were just just knew about me all of a sudden, and I was pretty scared because there were some really nasty things that people would say online, and I definitely tried to stay away from that as much as possible, like reading comments and whatever. But when you're on a national news source, it's really easy to engage in that and just look, especially on every social media platform possible.
Maybe this is step 1 of getting CRT more formally adopted, is sort of, just how a lot of groups have to work, right? That you have to maybe do grassroots with a smile for a while before, I don't know, you start protesting at school boards. It's happening.
I think there are community members that definitely just are not educated enough to feel comfortable with the new curriculum about race, because I don't know, older generations, have that past where there was racism in their everyday life and it was okay, it was socially accepted. So I think that there would be a lot of kids that would benefit from more material about the topic because of what I just did with what I had, you know what I mean? It got a lot of conversation going, and I think if there was more opportunities for conversation, that our school would do much better.
Looking at what happened at York High School, you can see a problem that runs farther than just neglecting a CRT teaching curriculum. Public school administrators choose to cater and amplify the voices of angry white parents over the voices of both teachers and students. It's clear looking at this example in York, students and teachers are both looking for ways to educate themselves on topics of race, and yet that is not enough. These are the voices who need to be amplified. Public school administration must listen to their students and teachers instead of mute them.